over him as well.
Your Honor, on the 14th of July of 2012, police were dispatched out to the medical center emergency room after, or in response to a hurt child. Mom had come home, found 3-month-old Desmond Hicks laying asleep, apparently asleep, on Richard Hicks' chest. Picked up Desmond. He was unresponsive, wasn't breathing. They tried CPR. Mom tried CPR. But that didn't work. Called 911 and rushed him to the emergency room. At the hospital, the doctor advised the police that he found a fractured skull. There was a bleed on the brain, as well as some fractured ribs, none of which could have been accidental unless the child had fallen from a height of 2 stories. In their investigation, when we spoke with Richard Hicks, he initially denied any knowledge, saying that the child had been thrown up earlier that day, fuzzy, and that he maybe had choked on his own vomit. After about an hour of speaking with police, Mr. Hicks then changed his story and confessed to throwing the baby into his bassinet, throwing Desmond back into his bassinet after he had been crying, screaming, and Richard Hicks had gotten frustrated. He knew that the baby hit his head when he was thrown back into the bed or bassinet. Quieted down. Mr. Hicks said he wasn't aware that the baby was injured. 2 days later, on the 16th of July, the doctors declared Desmond Hicks brain dead.
Thank you, Judge. We've also agreed with the state that when Mr. Hicks comes out, we want to have him in the veterans court program here in Good County. He's been screened for that, evaluated for that, and he's eligible and an appropriate person for that. Judge, he's 28 years old as he stands before the court today. When he was arrested, he was 25 years old. He has no prior criminal history whatsoever. He was in the U.S. Army from 2006 to 2011. He did 2 tours of duty in Iraq. In March of 2010, he was injured when his convoy got hit by a grenade attack. He was injured, received treatment for that. He was awarded the Purple Heart and several other commendations while he was in the military. He was honorably discharged in July of 2011. Came back home. He had he got out of the military, had some difficulty finding a job. So he was actually the caretaker for his 3 children. He had 3 boys, the youngest of his 3. Judge, if the case had gone to trial, we would have argued it was an accidental death. And what happened is the child had a bassinet which has a music box attached to the end. I'll show you this picture, Mr. Stover. But it's got a plastic music box at the end. And when the child was placed, tossed into the bassinet, he was in on the music box. What I've learned from handling this case and other cases in the past like this is a child can injure his head from what the medical personnel call a short fall, relatively short fall with not apparently a lot of impact. It can do some pretty considerable damage. But what happens is the mechanism of injury, unfortunately led to death in this case, and as in other cases, it's a very slow bleed on the brain. So what happens is the child might cry at first, then the child gets quiet, and the child goes to sleep. No other outward signs that something's wrong, but there's a slow bleed inside. The brain starts to swell, and within a few hours, up to a couple of days, I think the longest case I read was up to 72 hours before anything happens. And in between, they say the child can have a lucid interval where the child appears to be fine. We would submit if we had to go to trial, but that's what happened in this case. As far as broken ribs, a good chance that happened to the CPR. Here again, my research is that the literature in the case that's not uncommon as well. Judge, Mr. Hicks suffers from PTSD as a result of injury in the military, and we think that would be played into our defense and trial as well. But ultimately, Judge, we think this is a good resolution of the case. We would ask the court to accept the plea. We do think the veterans court component is very important in that, because not only will the VA work with him while he's in the system, but that way he'll have a lot of supervision, a lot of support when he comes out. I don't think we'll ever see him before the court again, Your Honor. Additionally, Judge,